I know what you're thinking. Like, when you seen the previews, you probably thought the same thing I did. We do not need another Truth or Dare. We have seen it once. We don't need to see it again. Welcome to Cine here, where you come for all of your media needs. My name is Ray, and today I am reviewing Smile, directed by Parker Finn, starring Sosie Bacon. This film is about Dr. Rose Cotter, who had witnessed a traumatic event with one of her patients, and she was traumatized by this ordeal and had to find a way to deal with that trauma as well. This is the directorial debut of Parker Finn, and this film is based off the short film that he created by the name of Lorna Hasn't Slept. And I can really tell that this was his baby because this movie is actually a solid film. And I know what you're thinking. Like, when you seen the previews, you probably thought the same thing I did. We do not need another Truth or Dare. We have seen it once. We don't need to see it again. And this kind of gave you that sense when you seen the trailer. But this film is way more like a film by the name of It Follows, which is fantastic, than it is by the movie, like I just said, Truth or Dare. And it stays in that same creepy lane. And he did such a good job of not trying to give you these cheap scares, but more focusing on a story in which you will be creeped out, and then he sneaked the scares in behind the good writing. Some of the best horror movies play off reality, and I think that that's where this movie gets such a big appeal for me, is because it kind of contorted and modified trauma in a way that actually physically manifests itself. It doesn't always have to be somebody wielding a knife to give you a scare. It doesn't always have to be someone demonically possessing someone to get you a scare. Sometimes it can be seeing things and doing things that you did not know you did. Being somewhere where you wasn't there 2 seconds ago. You know, you close your eyes and you end up in another spot. Sometimes those can be just as traumatic, just as scary, and just as creepy as somebody wielding a blade chasing you in the woods. Watching this movie in the theater, I actually was hearing some sort of noise or frequency in the speakers to my right. I'll kid you not. I know that kind of sounds crazy, but they really did try to bump up these scares, and I know you try to do that with the sound. You're not fooling anybody. I've watched enough movies to know when something on my right side, like right in this area, I know when something is trying to get me, and you tried to get me. It didn't work. Okay, it worked a little bit, but don't do that again. Don't put these little noises in your movie and think that I won't notice them, because I did, and it only added to the overall creepiness and horror of this film. Another film when we get another phenomenal actress with Sosie Bacon. She put on a show, because again, this movie is about trauma. It's about being able to visualize that trauma. It's about being able to act like you are dealing with a very traumatic event, and how everybody that you confide in only thinks that you're crazy, even though you are crazy. Everybody also thinks that you're crazy, so it only makes it worse. And she did a great job of fidgeting just at the right moments, and if somebody calling her name, you know, making that right jump as if she wasn't really paying attention, because she got a lot going on in her mind. She really did allow us into that world of maybe what some people might be dealing with in actual reality. And I think she does such a great job of capturing that in this film. So I would call myself a movie connoisseur. I would call myself a horror know-it-all. And I would like to say that this film took a different approach to the actual scares of the film. There wasn't this build-up that has a payoff. Some of the scares kind of come out of nowhere in a good way, and you typically don't see that in horror movies. So I like the way that Parker Finn tried to sneak these in while you watch the film. It wasn't always like open the refrigerator, close it, and somebody's either there or behind you. Like, sometimes he just kind of almost showing you, I'm going to scare you and then scare you. And that's hard to do. That's hard when somebody's letting you know, like, hey, this man running towards you right now has a knife in his hand and he is going to stab you. And then you still be surprised at what happens next. See, he has that what happens next factor in this scary movie. This is a good start going into the month of October. You know that this is a horror movie capital, and this movie was a solid start transitioning into that month. I probably will have to give this film a 7.5. This is how you create something new. This is how you join a genre of a lot of people that think they know how horror is done and doing it in your own way and making this your own. Good job, Parker Finn. I cannot wait to see what you do next. If you enjoyed this review, please make sure you either follow or subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I'm going to continue to do my best to review these films in a way in which you know whether or not you want to go watch them or whether or not you should not even waste your time. I definitely want to know what you think about this film. And also, the month of October is right around the corner. So I want to know some of your favorite horror movies or some movies that you are looking forward to seeing coming up in this next October. Also, if you like what I did here, make sure you like the video and show that level of support as well. And don't forget, you seen it here.